G'day, it's Matt and Chrissy here from Couple of Sitters, and today we're going to share with you our tips to get first class pet sits easily.
Off they go, bags in tow. Matt and Chrissy hit the road. Maps unfold, stories told. Adventures never getting old. Matt and Chrissy roam so free through the city, past the sea.
So first class pet sitting gigs, we've had a couple.
Oh, we've had lots.
We have had lots actually, and we're on one right now. Like honestly, you'll need to check out the next video or whatever. We'll loop it in on this one because the property here is mind-blowingly beautiful.
So this property is not actually a pet sitting opportunity, but it is a house sitting opportunity. And there are other obligations, but this place is absolutely beautiful.
I'd classify it as a pet sit, a first-class pet sitting gig because they've got a goldfish. Outside there's a goldfish called Diplo.
And they really do love their snails. We've been
do.
told we've been told we need to protect the snails.
What are they? They're zebra snails or tiger snails? There's some like we'll have to look them up. But
Over there. What does
here
it
we
say
go.
on the sheet?
Here we go. This is preparing, like house sitting 101.
Panda snails.
Panda snails. Yeah. So you'll get all sorts of information when you're on house sits, and I tell you what, hold on to it. Learn. This is great. So. Let's get into it. Chrissy, tips on getting a first-class pet sitting gig easily. Now, well, Chris, what if I told you that nailing your dream pet sitting gig was about getting the interview right? Or if you don't, you'd completely miss out.
It's true.
Yeah, and we've had some where time zones. Wow.
Oh yeah, the time zone's been a challenge. If you're trying to land a gig that's overseas, make sure you got your time zones right.
Yeah.
That's a really key one.
I'm reflecting on the experience that I had when I had a job interview and I was in another time zone, and I didn't take into account that Google and all of the other services try to be really helpful, and I'd adjusted mentally and in the calendar for the time difference, but Google had done it too. So I was 2 hours out. So bear that in mind when it comes to doing your house sits.
So we're going to discuss with you the common challenges on a virtual pet sitting interview, because 90% of the time, that's how it's going to happen. It's very rare that we will ever meet the homeowner and the pet owner in advance.
We usually find that we're chatting with them first online, and then we'll organise a video call. And from there, we then can, if we're in the area, organise to do a face-to-face, so we can meet the pets, meet them, get an induction on what they need, and then we'll come back and do the sit at some point in time. Getting all of these things right in relation to your presentation and the problems and the challenges, here's the stuff that we're going to cover. So Chris, how do you build trust without in-person interaction?
There's a few different things, and to begin with, it starts with being on time and being personable. So make sure that you're dressed appropriately, make sure that you're communicating clearly, you're looking at the person who you're speaking with. Really just good etiquette, in my opinion.
For sure. I mean, imagine you right now, you're the person who's interviewing me for a house sit, and I'm spending my time talking like this. And
playing on your phone.
Yeah, and that would be extremely... How do you feel right now about my communication with you? Do you feel like it's connected and that I'm paying attention to you and I'm catering to your wants and needs and that I'm going to care about your pet? Really? So eyeball people, right? Keep that contact there. It's hard enough with the virtual platforms being the way they are, but if you can maintain eye contact and smile during the conversation, don't do creepy smiles, but smile. So just like relax, drop into it, be sincere. And look, we found that in a lot of cases, if you're taking the time to just talk naturally and speak about your experiences, people will connect with you and they're more happy to spend time telling you about their pets and those needs. And all you need to do is ask clarifying questions really along the way. That's going to help you build rapport straight away, because what are you doing first and foremost there, Chris?
You're showing interest.
And who are you making the interview all about?
The pet.
Yeah. And that's why you're being interviewed, because they want their fur baby to be looked after, or their scale baby. I think you call a goldfish a scale baby. So what about the technical difficulties during the interview, Chris? What sort of things have we encountered that have caused us all sorts of problems? I mean, I'm losing hair over this.
So first things first, always check that your audio is working and your camera is switched on. I know that probably sounds really basic because a lot of people are used to Zoom by now, but you'd be amazed how frequently these challenges come up.
Oh, and don't leave the filter on with Zoom either, right? If there's the panda face or whatever's going on, turn it off. I don't know if you've seen that video.
I haven't, but it could be quite funny. Could you not build rapport like that?
I don't know. There was some dude who was like, he jumped on a Zoom call. He had this mask on, like a digital filter, and he couldn't figure out how to turn it off. It was so funny. We'll see if we can find it, and we'll stick it down the bottom in the description.
That is so
if you want to laugh, after you finish laughing at us and our attempt at videos, have a look at this one. It is an absolute perler.
So before I even apply for a house sit, I will get all of the person's details. I'll find out their names, the location, their phone number, the dates of the house sit, and of course the pets' names. And you want to be referring to them by their names and their pets' names throughout the interview. There is nothing more appealing to someone than their name.
And their pet's name too.
And
You
their
don't
pet's
want to.
name.
You don't want to go. Yes, Bob. It'll be love to come and look after your home and your dog. No, if the dog's called Scrappy, hey Bob, we are really looking forward to coming and hanging out with Scrappy.
Yeah.
You know, there's a big difference between those two. So yeah. And what about the breeds? I mean, there's some differences out there when it comes to looking after different dogs in particular, and their
Yes.
breeds and their needs.
And breeds and their needs. Are you trying to make a rhyme?
No. But I'm just trying to make it about first-class pet sitting gigs. So you know,
It's
just
true.
the breeds and their needs. You got to roll with it, yeah.
It helps to know what different pets' needs are. So, for example, sausage dogs have a challenge because they have a longer body. They often have back and hip issues. German Shepherds also have issues with their hip bones, so something to take into consideration. Pugs and French
be
Bulldogs have
respiratory.
issues with respiratory
Yeah.
and sinuses, so that can be challenging at times.
Something else to keep in mind is that you need to showcase your connection with the pets. If you really want to land one of those luxury pet sits, then while you're on your current pet sit, if the interview happens to line up for them and you've got a dog or a cat that's particularly affectionate, don't be so focused on the interview to the point that you're pushing the animal away when you could be letting them be a part of the interview as well, because they're going to help vouch for your care and affection. You're demonstrating to the other person on the other side of the camera that you have a connection and that you're relatable and that you care. And they know that if an animal is scared of you, then there's a reason for that. But if they're all over you and they're affectionate and they are connected with you, it really does show and it speaks volumes. Make it about the pets. Ask specific questions about the pets and their routines, like where do they go for a walk? What sort of feeding requirements are there? Do they need to be fed before they go for a walk? And if so, how long do you need to leave it before you take them for a walk so they don't end up with digestive issues? Or if it's the other way around, how long after they've been for a walk do you then feed them? What sort of things do you need to keep in mind when there's other dogs around? Are they friendly or do they get a little bit apprehensive? Are they okay off the lead? Young dogs, different to old dogs.
Absolutely.
You know, we had some young pups that we looked after that were big breeds and they just wanted to come inside and play. But they were told that, we were told by the pet parents that no, they sleep outside at night, not in the house because they're not trained and this is just how we do it. But then you'd have them jumping up against like a sliding glass door. And we're talking like a mastiff, like a decent sized pup. And we were really concerned that, it was an oldish door, not a really thick glass, that he might actually crack it and end up going through it and hurt himself. So you've got to think about those sorts of things and be more mindful about what's going on in the environment that could also present a threat to the animals.
We have encountered a few different challenges with pets, and it's nothing that can't be overcome unless, of course, you have some major issues with older pets that need medication and that's just not something you're willing to do. Then don't apply for the sit, because there's nothing worse than getting a house sit gig and finding out that you just can't cope because the pet's needs are far beyond your capacity. We'll also ask them how they would like us to communicate with them while they're away, because some people would like to have a phone call every couple of days. Some people want photographs 3 times a day. It very much depends on the owner.
We're going to share a little bit about Baxter and Klaus, these 2 gorgeous little dashies.
They're super cute. They're so well behaved.
But they loved going for a run, didn't they?
Klaus was a bit of a Houdini.
Yeah.
He likes to run, and you have to be so careful and watch him, because I reckon give him half a chance and he'll be off.
Oh, yeah,
and he
for
can
sure.
run.
For sure.
They are so fast.
Yeah, those little legs move fast. One of the things I suppose that I really found very cute about these 2, Klaus in particular, he was amazing when it came to playing fetch. And he must have been a goalkeeper in another life, because I tell you what, you have a hard time getting a ball past him, and it keeps getting shorter and shorter, like the ping pong match where it gets closer and closer and closer and the ball's just going. That's what fetch was getting like with Klaus. He's really, really hot. He's red hot on it. Baxter used to love the ball until Klaus started to dominate it, but then Baxter really started to get into the rope, and he loved playing a tug of war.
Yes.
You had to let him win, and just let him
Not
know
always, but occasionally.
let him know that oh, he's such a strong boy, and just help build him back up. One of the other things that I really enjoyed about these 2 was they were so easy when it came to feeding. They were very, very structured, a lot of discipline. They would sit and wait, and they knew that they weren't allowed to approach the bowl and eat until they were told it was okay. And they'd both sit there and they'd wait for that. And we learnt how to keep this going after Brett and Elise showed us what they would do. And we helped some other pet parents implement the same thing with their dachshunds, because they're a very, very smart little dog. Chuck your comments down below if there's anything that you want us to cover, if there's any questions you've got in relation to this house sit. Did we not go deep enough on a particular point? What more could we share with you that's going to give you value?
Yes, and if you like this information, please like, share and subscribe so that we can get the information out to more people and continue growing our channel.
It helps us a lot, it really does. We appreciate it. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much, and we'll catch you on the next one.
Hopefully you nail your house sit. Buenos tacos.
Bye.